If you're in B2B marketing, there's really one huge question that can make or break your entire year. With a limited ad budget, where do you place your bets to get the best possible return? Well, today, we're diving into that ultimate B2B advertising showdown, and we're going to build the exact framework you need to pick a winner every single time.
Look, let's be real for a second. Choosing the wrong ad platform is probably the fastest way to just light your marketing budget on fire with absolutely nothing to show for it. The stakes? They're incredibly high. But the good news is, there's a really strategic way to get this right. So let's break it all down. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to start by understanding what makes B2B so unique. Then, we'll get into a head-to-head comparison of the platforms, looking at the metrics that actually matter. After that, we'll figure out how to choose your champion, build a practical budget, and finally, cover the super costly mistakes that can sink your whole strategy.
All right, first things first, we have to start with a foundational rule, and it's this. B2B advertising is a completely different ballgame than B2C. If you try to copy a consumer-focused strategy, well, you're pretty much guaranteed to fail. This right here perfectly illustrates that strategic divide. B2C marketing, it's kind of like casting a massive net, hoping to catch as many fish as possible with a single emotional hook. But B2B, it's surgical. You're not fishing in the ocean. You're fishing in a small, exclusive pond for a very specific type of fish. And you don't just have to convince one fish, you have to convince a whole committee of them. Here, precision is the only thing that matters.
So how do the major ad platforms even try to tackle this B2B challenge? Well, it all really comes down to two totally opposing strategies. And understanding this difference is the key to knowing exactly where your ad dollars are going and, more importantly, why.
First up, we've got the burn the ocean strategy. This is basically the playbook for platforms like Meta, YouTube, and X. The idea is simple. You cast an enormous net into an ocean of billions of users, you feed the algorithm some targeting signals, and you just trust it to go out and find the right people for you. It's a volume game, built for massive scale and top-of-funnel brand awareness.
And then on the complete other side, you have LinkedIn's approach, the burn the pond strategy. What's the fundamental difference here? Well, with this, you aren't trying to find your audience. You already know exactly who they are by their job title, their company, their industry. The whole goal is to focus all your budget and firepower on this small, high-value pond. It's surgical, it's efficient, and it requires a totally different mindset.
Okay, so we've got our two big strategies, burn the ocean versus burn the pond. Now let's look at the hard data and see how these philosophies actually play out in a head-to-head comparison across the metrics that we B2B marketers really care about.
Everything starts with targeting, and this is where the platforms just diverge dramatically. Now, Google Ads is powerful for sure because it captures active search intent, but for B2B, LinkedIn is really in a league of its own. It's not about what someone is searching for, it's about who they are professionally. You can target by job title, seniority, company size, specific skills. This is the difference between showing your ad to someone who's just interested in cybersecurity versus showing it directly to the chief information security officer you actually need to reach. It's a game changer.
Of course, that level of precision, it comes at a premium. This chart shows the elephant in the room. LinkedIn CPMs, or the cost to show your ad 1,000 times, are way higher than on platforms like Meta or YouTube. But this requires a really crucial mental shift. You're not just buying cheap, broad impressions, you are investing in highly valuable, targeted impressions. There's a big difference.
And here it is. This is the direct payoff for that higher cost, lead quality. While other platforms are great at filling the top of your funnel with broad awareness, LinkedIn is purpose-built for engaging qualified decision makers in the middle and bottom of the funnel. And that's where you move from just generating leads to actually generating pipeline.
So with all this data, how do we make the final call? The key takeaway is this. It's not about finding the one best platform. It's about selecting the right tool for the specific job you need to get done.
The choice becomes really clear when you look at your goals. If your strategy is built on precision, I'm talking reaching specific job titles, executing an account-based marketing plan, or selling a high-value product where the quality of the lead is way more important than the quantity, then LinkedIn is your undisputed champion. It's a no-brainer. However, the burn the ocean approach definitely has its own strengths. If your main goal is just massive brand awareness, maybe you have a product with really broad appeal, or if your main KPI is simply the lowest possible cost per lead, then platforms like Meta and YouTube can be a much more strategic and cost-effective choice.
Okay, let's translate all this theory into a practical budget. We're going to walk through a realistic SaaS company scenario to show you exactly how to move from a goal to a precise, calculated ad spend.
So here's our scenario. Imagine you're launching a new cybersecurity tool. Your ideal customer, a VP of marketing at a US-based company. So the big question is, what's the right budget for a LinkedIn campaign?
Well, the answer isn't a guess, it's a calculation. Step 1, you define your audience size using LinkedIn's Campaign Manager. In this case, it's about 85,000 VPs of marketing. Step 2, set a realistic goal. A great starting point is to try and reach about 80% of them, maybe 3 times a month, to build recognition. Step 3, estimate your CPM. Based on this audience, we'll use $20. Now, you just do the math and you can calculate your required budget, which comes out to just over $4,000 a month to effectively dominate that specific pond.
And hey, here's a quick pro tip for you when you're on LinkedIn. Try to keep your target audience size under 250,000 people. If it's much larger than that, you're probably not being specific enough. Narrowing it down will almost always improve your focus, your relevance, and your overall ROI.
Finally, let's cover the traps. Because knowing what to do is important, but knowing what not to do, that can save you thousands of dollars in wasted ad spend. So let's make sure you don't accidentally sink your own ROI.
These are the 5 biggest campaign killers. 1. Don't treat LinkedIn like Facebook by chasing wide reach. 2. Don't get obsessed with a low cost per lead if it means you're sacrificing quality. 3. Always uncheck the audience expansion box to keep your targeting precise. 4. Do the exact same thing for the audience network to make sure your ads only run on LinkedIn itself. And 5. Don't waste money promoting content that hasn't already proven itself organically. These simple checks are just non-negotiable for success.
This quote right here, this is the entire strategic mindset you need for LinkedIn. You are doing LinkedIn ads well when the impression itself is valuable. If you've targeted so precisely that just getting your brand in front of that specific person is a win, then you've truly understood the platform.
So there you have it. The choice isn't really about which platform is best, but which strategy actually aligns with your goals. Are you burning the ocean for broad awareness, or are you burning the pond for surgical precision? Now, I really want to hear your experience. Which platform has delivered the best B2B results for your business, and why? Share your insights in the comments. It's a great way for all of us to learn from each other. And hey, if this strategic breakdown was helpful, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives just like this. Thanks for watching.